These are the worst decisions you can make in Detroit, Michigan. So you're thinking about moving to Detroit, Michigan, or maybe you live locally, or maybe you're just visiting, and you're worried about the worst decisions to make in Detroit, then this video is for you. My name is Matt Talbot. My team and I help people just like you every single day move here to Michigan, and we absolutely live for it. In this video, we want to give you the inside scoop of the worst decisions to make in Detroit. First off, before we dive into this video, I have something very, very important to share with you. I was rolling up my sleeves for the video, literally, and I found out one of our videographers, Mike, please pop up a picture here, used to be a model for Hollister? Or Abercrombie, Hollister. Okay, so he noticed I had the pink shirt and I was rolling up the sleeves that, hey, they used to make me do that as a model for Hollister back in the day. So hopefully I'm not looking too much like a Hollister model today, but that's an interesting fact of the day. So you're thinking about moving to Detroit, you want to visit Detroit, and you want to know the worst decisions in Detroit. So we have a great list to review with you today. I'm sourcing an article from Metro Times, the worst decisions you can make in Detroit, and I think there's some very valid points we want to take you through so you can understand a little bit more about what not to do in Detroit, understand a little bit more about the flavor, the culture, what to expect from the people, of things not to do in Detroit. Number one on our list from this Metro Times article is not paying attention on 75, which is I-75. I think this is such a great number one on our list. So exit 47B. You're coming down 75, you're going south, you're pulling up to southwest Detroit, that general area, okay? Now exit 47B is very tricky. You get off and you can take it all the way around. You go to Verner and you're in southwest. Best tacos on the planet. Maybe not on the planet, but pretty darn good tacos. Great place, great restaurants. A lot of fun culture in southwest Detroit. But if you go the wrong way on exit 47B, maybe it's 47A and B, not sure, you actually end up on the bridge to Canada with no turnaround. So you kind of have two options. One is you end up in southwest Detroit, which is awesome, or two, you end up going to Canada, which could be awesome for some people, but not awesome if you're not trying to go there, and now all of a sudden you're stuck in customs. So a lot of people from Detroit or from the general area get a little bit nervous there. There's another place actually on Jefferson downtown as well, where you can kind of do the same thing, and so you don't want to get caught slipping and end up in the wrong area on either of those exits, because they will make you turn around and customs will search you. They do not appreciate that type of behavior when you're talking about the border of the United States of America. So that is number one on our list. Pay attention when on I-75, specifically exit 47B. Number two on our list of Metro Times article, the worst decisions in Detroit, is riding the giant slide in Belle Isle.
Hey, you can break your back on the giant slide. You can even break your neck on the giant slide. You can even bump your head on the giant slide.
So we have a fantastic video out on Belle Isle. If you're curious about learning more about Belle Isle, it's an awesome place to go. There's a beach, there's a golf range, there's tons of areas for picnicking and hanging out with the family. There's so many different things happening. There's the aquarium, which is fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of things happening on Belle Isle. We have a whole video out on it. It's a pretty in-depth video, one of our most watched videos actually currently to date. One thing we only briefly mentioned in that video is the giant slide. So the giant slide is exactly that. It's a giant slide that dates back a very, very long time. And one of the worst decisions you can make in Detroit is riding the giant slide if it's open again. So a couple years ago, this went viral. The giant slide has these big jumps on it and people were getting messed up. I mean, absolutely wrecked, absolutely destroyed. It's like a ridiculousness video if you've seen that show. Number two Metro Times article, one of the worst decisions in Detroit is riding the giant slide, and I definitely agree with this article on that one. Next up on this Metro Times article is saying you grew up in Detroit when you're from the suburbs. Okay, so this is definitely frowned upon for people who live downtown or live in the city to some extent. You know, I don't know about this one. My opinion is a little bit flip-sided. I get it. Sometimes it's a lot when people are like, I'm from Detroit. That being said, when you're traveling, you're a different place in the country, different place in the world, and people want to know where you're from, like it's a lot easier to say like I'm from Detroit than it's like Plymouth or whatever, right? And so, but there definitely is a lot of haters on this one, specifically in the city. If they're from the city, like don't say you're from Detroit or not from Detroit. Like, and the reason for it is there's pride in that. There's pride being from Detroit. There's a lot of good energy around that. There's a lot of reasoning for, hey, we're from Detroit and that's what's up. So anyway, a lot of those people don't appreciate that, and that definitely is a thing here in Southeast Michigan. It's pretty funny when we travel. So I personally live downtown. You know, I don't really care if you say claim it, as long as you say good things about the city. For me, is an important thing. Don't say bad things about Detroit though. That's when we got issues. Up next on our list of Metro Times worst decisions you can make in Detroit, I'm skipping one. Well, I'll brief over it. They mentioned being a Lions fan. So as of late, the Lions are rocking and rolling. I'm not even going to touch that subject. I'm not even going to jinx these guys. They're doing very, very well in the current state. So depending on when you watch this video, you probably know what year I'm talking about. But up next on our list, which is very near and dear to my heart, is one of the worst decisions you can make in Detroit is getting a parking ticket. They're no joke, okay? So I've been living in the city for a few years. I'm there quite a bit. I do a lot of different posting up at different coffee shops and working different areas and showings and listing appointments. I'm all over the city, okay? So a few years ago, Detroit actually went to a $45 parking ticket. And don't violate, don't stay late, whatever, you will get that $45 ticket. If you're too close to a stop sign, you get a $45 ticket. If you're not parked accordingly, and those guys are ruthless. They'll send a picture, I'm like, that's more than 20 feet. I get tickets all the time, $45 a rip. So interesting fact about that is when the city went into bankruptcy years ago, one of the things to get out of bankruptcy is that they decided to keep that parking ticket at $45 to help offset the budget, and that's for a specific amount of time. So we've been well out of bankruptcy. Detroit's doing very, very well as a city financially at this point, much better than they were, but those $45 tickets still linger. So be careful. One of the worst decisions you can make in Detroit is parking illegally. It'll cost you $45. Okay, up next on our list, quoting Metro Times again here of this article, the worst decisions to make in Detroit is the ones you make between 1 and 3:30 a.m., of course, and then in quotes, unless it's Lafayette, Coney Island, it's always a good decision. So a couple things to note here. The next one is ask for ketchup on your Coney. So I wanted to talk through this from a local's perspective. So a couple things. Yes, if you're going out after the bar, downtown, it's never good. I don't care what city you're in. There's a lot of bad decisions to be made. In Detroit, they reference Lafayette, Coney Island. So a really big debate here in Detroit. An interesting fact, something you should definitely know if you're thinking about moving to Detroit, the general area, is to understand American and Lafayette, Coney Island. So Detroiters are very big about their Coneys, and Lafayette and American are right next to each other, right downtown, and it's been a big debate for a long time who has the best Coney dog. If you don't know what a Coney dog is, it's a very, very specific recipe. Hot dog, chili, onions, mustard. That is it. Nothing else. And so up next on their list was asking for ketchup on your Coneys. If you go to American or Lafayette and you ask for ketchup, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. No ketchup on hot dogs according to Detroiters. Listen, I hate to say this is going to make me less of a Detroiter. I don't eat hot dogs, really. I don't like hot dogs. I'll do a bratwurst occasionally. I'm definitely not going to Lafayette or American ever. I'm sorry. I just think that's not my cup of tea. But if you like that, it is a huge thing in Detroit. Now, chili cheese fries, that's a little bit more like up my alley. I'll think about that from time to time, but you're not going to see me at Lafayette or American at 1 o'clock in the morning. However, great junk food for a lot of people. People talk about it all the time, and that is an interesting fact in a good decision, but all the other decisions at 1 to 3 a.m., according to the article, is one of the worst decisions you can make in Detroit. I believe that to be true in any city. Up next on Metro Times list. Well, before we jump into this one, again, my name is Matt Talbot. My team and I are real estate agents here in Detroit and Metro Detroit, and we help people move to the city in Southeast Michigan every single day. We literally get calls, texts, and emails. I got a great one this week. We started showing them around downtown Detroit. Fantastic opportunity. Very excited to work with those buyers. But we get calls, texts, emails, calendar links for appointments all the time of people that want to move to the area. And if that's you, please hit our calendar link on our main page here on YouTube. We're happy to get set up today. Additionally, if you like this Detroit video, if you want to learn more about the area, if you're thinking about moving to the area, if you live in the area, and these videos provide any value to you, please hit subscribe subscribe and tap for notifications for more videos just like this. Hey, I get it. I talk super fast. My hands are moving a lot. I get a lot of those comments. We're trying to improve as we roll through these videos. However, we do appreciate your love and feedback and support. You guys help let YouTube know that it's working for us, because we really do get the opportunity to help a lot of people move to the area from these videos. And that's very, very important to us, because we are the best of the best, the most excellent real estate team on the entire planet, I promise. Okay, next on our list is getting food after 10 p.m. This is a very interesting one. It's getting better, but having lived in the city for years, and this Metro Times article is 100% right, it is difficult to get food after 10 p.m., specifically less expensive food a lot of times. So it's not a great late night city as far as food. There is Lafayette and American, and there's some other ones. Sapino's Pizza comes to mind in Midtown. That's a good spot, and there's definitely some other places you can go as well. However, there's some new places opening up. We're moving in the right direction, but for a long time, even after 9, it's difficult during the week. The other thing is too, if you live downtown, expect to spend a pretty penny on most food, definitely healthy food for the most part. A lot of the restaurants are either high-end restaurants, or you can find food that's less expensive, but it's not exactly in the health category. So we're not exactly known for the healthy food of the world. Like when I travel to like Colorado and stuff like that, I'm like, there's like organic and vegan smoothie shops and all this stuff everywhere. We have some of that, and there's definitely a lot more moving to the city, but it's been a slow evolution to say the least. So food after 10 p.m., definitely hard to get. Another one of Metro Times article list here that I really, really like is driving the speed limit. Specifically, once you get to downtown, the Lodge, 96, a lot of the different expressways. Listen, this is not an advocate for doing over the speed limit. I'm not pushing this on any of the young children out there. I'm not trying to disrupt their youth by any stretch of the mind. However, a lot of people do not drive the speed limit when you get downtown, especially when it goes to 55. Like 55 is sort of like irrelevant. People just keep going 70, which is our posted speed limit everywhere else. If you get a ticket, don't blame me. Don't say, hey, Matt did it and we were in court, and Matt Talbot from living in Detroit and the Talbot team, he said it. No, that's not how we're going to roll here. However, it is just a thing. Like people, like the Lodge, it's just like it's posted at 55, the speed limit 70. However, be very, very careful on the Lodge, because there's just cement walls everywhere. There's not a lot of places to swerve if you do get in an accident. So be safe out there. However, the posted speed limit in Detroit, I agree with this article 100%, is not usually where people drive. Okay, up next are two of my favorites on this article. I'm going to blend the two. The worst decisions you can make in Detroit. So here's one of them: associating with people who say Detroit is dangerous, and also, but isn't getting better.
Let's dump his body in the woods and walk in there like nothing happened.
And the other one is allowing outside opinions shape your perspective of Detroit instead of experiencing the city for yourself. Be careful what you say about the Motor City. Detroiters are ride or die, and we will always defend our hometown against ignorance. Peace. What a great finish to this article. So Metro Times does a great job in a lot of places. They're definitely polarizing. They definitely have a unique perspective. But I agree with that. Listen, I don't care where you're at in the world. We get a lot of comments here, and I understand people have perspectives and opinions. I respect everyone's opinion. However, if you haven't been to downtown Detroit and you haven't experienced for yourself and you hate on it for a very specific reason, that's always very ignorant to me, because I don't really like to judge things or people or places or whatever until I experience them for myself. And a lot of times you are drastically surprised. This city is awesome. We come with tons of pride. We come with tons of passion. We survive crazy winters every year, so we're tough people. And in my opinion, that's very, very important to call yourself a Detroiter, to call yourself a Michigander. Okay, so whatever you do, watch your words, be kind, say nice things about Detroit, because there's a lot of good things. There's a lot of great people, and a lot of people working very hard for those specific reasons. So that does it for Metro Times article. My take on the Metro Times article of the worst decisions you can make in Detroit. My name is Matt Talbot. My team and I help people just like you every single day move here to Michigan, and we absolutely live for it. Say nice things about Detroit.